Hey guys, I am here to help you make sure that you measure your room, preferably bedroom, correctly. Okay, so you should have your tape measure. I believe yours is yellow. You should also have your graph paper. And if you remember, every square equals 1 foot, which is equal to 12 inches, and then something to write with. All right, so I am in my son's room, so I apologize for the mess, but I'm gonna flip this camera around and I'm gonna make sure that we get these measurements correctly at the best way possible. Okay, so here we go. All right, so first step, you wanna make sure that on your measuring tape, you are using the inches side, not your smaller side, okay? And you always want to make sure that you're starting at 1. Now, as you can see, I have a lot next to the wall for my son. You don't want to measure over something. For example, you don't want to put the tape measure over the bed because it adds inches and that wouldn't be accurate. So you want to make sure that your tape measure goes up against the wall. If you need to put something there to hold it down, for example, I will use a roll of tape so that I can get this nice and flat without pulling it away from the wall. Okay, so stops at 60 inches, which if we know 60 divided by 12 is 5 feet. But I need to mark that because obviously if I pick up the tape, I'm gonna lose that spot. So if you have something to put down so that you know exactly where to start 1, we don't wanna start it at the end. We wanna stop it at 60, okay? So I'm going to put a book right at the end so that it matches up, so that when I pull my tape measure, I can start it exactly where it needs to go. All right, so I'll put the book there to hold it down. And I go underneath his bed because I am finding out how long his room is. All right, and again, here we go. It's still there. We want to lay it nice and flat. So I have another 5 feet, but I'm so close to the wall, okay? So 5 feet, I can put my finger if needed. I'm going to put, apologize, I'm gonna have to put the phone down for 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So I have 50 inches to 60 inches to my wall, which is only 10 inches. So you're gonna have to be careful because that is not equal to 12 inches, therefore 1 foot. So I had 10 feet from one wall to another plus 10 inches. So I'm gonna write that on my paper because then I need to know how big I'm making my room. Okay, so that I can do this all at one time, I'm going to say my arrows because I need to know I'm going to be going up and down. This is 10 feet and 10 inches. Okay, so now we need to find out how wide his room is. Again, I'm going to make sure I put it up against the wall. I'm going to use my tape to hold it still. And I want to make sure that this is nice and even. I want to have it flat, straight if possible. Okay, so we have another 60 inches, which 5 feet. I'm going to put my book, which actually my carpet is really nice. It makes that line for me. Okay, so that is 5 feet. Here we go. We need to find out to my wall. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put the book down just to hold it flat. Obviously, you can use items in your room to help with this. If you have a parent or a brother or sister to help you so that they can hold down the tape measure, that'll help too. Okay, so as you can see, he's got his toys all over. But we're gonna have another. Ooh, this is almost perfect. Here we go. 57.5 inches. All right, it's right there. Okay, so that's where the edging of his wall is. So 57.5. Now, that means you need to find out how many feet. Okay, here we go. 57 divided by 12. We know that 60 divided by 12 is 5 feet. So I'm going to say it's going to be 4 feet. All right. 12 times 4 is 48. I subtract. I can't take 8 away from 7. So I need to regroup my groups of 10. So now 17 take away 8 is 9, and I have 9 left. Well, I can't divide 9 by 12, but we are going to get a decimal. So I'm going to add my 0. Now, this also means if you're getting into decimals and you are not comfortable with decimals, just know you're going to have just over 4 squares. 90 divided by 12, you know it's larger than 5. And if you want to do your multiples, I'm not starting at 0 because I already know 60 is 5 12s. 72 is 6 12s. Then we have 84 is 7 12s. And I know I'm not going to be able to fit another 12 in there. Okay? So the 7 would go up. 84. Look at that, an even 60. Okay, so I would have almost 5 squares. All right, so we had 5 feet up to this line, and then another 4 feet and 3/4. So again, I'm going to write that on my paper. This time I'm going to draw my arrows. We had 9 feet and 3/4. So that way when I decide where I want it on my paper, I know how far over I can go to draw my picture.